program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Thursday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, Anthony Hartwig, alongside Mr. DJ Yoakley, the CEO, founder, boss man, captain, oh captain, my captain. Thursday, man, we're getting into our second to last week of September. It's tomorrow's the 23rd, and then next week it'll be the 30th. Fall is wrapping up quick. Ugh.
Fall is here, actually. First day of fall
Right.
is today. First thing I have, literally choking on this, crackers. You ever have these orange peanut butter toast cheese crackers?
You mean like they're almost like Ritz crackers with the cheese on them and the peanut butter in between?
Well,
Same
it's like
kind
the
of
orange
concept?
crackers with the peanut butter, right?
Yeah.
So what I've learned here at the ripe old age of 37 years old is you better have some kind of liquid to wash these down, or you're in big trouble, mister. Like big trouble. I don't have anything, and I'm chewing on these crackers to start the show. It's terrible.
That's like with me, anything with peanut butter is like I gotta have something because it just gets stuck in there and
Why? Like I'm addicted to these things, but I've never ever I never have something to drink with them. So I'm sitting there coughing and like one of those like moments where the peanut butter, like you try to cover it up and like
right.
there's orange and like
There's orange dust coming out. What
what is wrong with that kid?
Oh man.
Sorry to start the show like that, but I'm just, hey, real recognize real.
Hey, we had a great night of action last night on YSN. A couple of soccer games got moved to tonight because of the impending inclement weather that was coming in last night. There were supposed to be storms. I don't think they actually, well, at least in my house, I don't know what it was like in Columbiana County. The storms didn't really come until late at night. So I was probably sitting there thinking, well, they probably could have played. But when the forecast is saying severe weather, at 7, and it's a good chance, you kind of got to listen to the trusted meteorologists, especially the ones over at Storm Tracker 21.
Hey, that a boy right there. Yeah, I think, I don't know that we got anything. I know that we got some stuff this morning. It rained for a few minutes. I don't know that we got a storm though. It was. I was out by like 8:30, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was one of those lay down nights and out cold.
Yeah, you need some of those nights. I don't know if enough people tell you that like you need, because you go so much, and I don't know if people outside of YSN know like the grind that you go through. And we've all heard the stories. Like there are nights where you get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep max. So I'm happy to hear that you had one of those nights that you were able to get down early.
I'm the old man now that gets up at like 5 o'clock, right? No matter how much sleep I get. So I'm up at 5 o'clock, I was writing stories this morning, looking over some of the games that we had and making sure everything's up to snuff. But dude, like the nights that I go to bed at 2, like tomorrow night will be a night that I go to bed at 2, 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then I'm up at 5.
You're still up at 5.
I'm still up at 5, and maybe 6 if I'm lucky. But when you hear that baby cry, it's over for me. Like I'm not one of those guys that can sleep through it. It's like when the baby gets up, you hear it, you're up. And we got a 4-year-old and an 11-month-old at home right now, and it is taxing. Like well, it's not April, but the tax season is here.
Chris Sigler in the comments. Glad to see him back in the comments. I know that for a little bit there was an issue with him getting on our stream
because he was in Facebook jail. He's blaming us, and he was in Facebook jail the entire time. Siggy, finger pointer. At 1:30 was quite the lightning show. He says, "Don't ask why I was. Why were like I'm interested why he'd be up that late because he's an early riser as well.
He's got makes him an early riser, if I'm not mistaken.
Chris Sigler runs the world. Like the world doesn't move without Chris Sigler pointing the direction of which way it should go.
And he's responsible for a lot of the great ideas that we've had in the last year and a half.
You know who's been really kind of poking me on text messages who hasn't appeared in a long time? Mr. Eric Bailey. And I'm gonna throw this out. I've never seen, to my knowledge, EB and Siggy live and in person in the same room at the same time. So it's kind of like Bruce Wayne and Batman. I don't.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like if they're the same person, and I've just never seen them at the same time.
Yeah, because like they would never be at the office on Friday nights after football at the same time last year either. Because obviously last year EB did some football games for us. He would come hang out after the game, but then Siggy would never be there on the same night.
And technically, Josh and Chris are twins. Well, not technically, right. They are.
They are.
So prove to me that it's really Chris Sigler and EB if they're actually in the same room. We're going to have to see Chris Sigler, Josh Sigler, and Eric Bailey in the same room to prove to me that EB and Chris Sigler are not the same person.
And it's got to be live. We can't have this pre-recorded stuff that comes up, and maybe they could fake the deep fake video conference. It's got to be live in the same room.
Like I'm getting Manti-Teo'd right now. I'm pretty sure.
Did you see that documentary?
I have not. I dropped Netflix, but I'm picking up TV Kings. Have you heard about this?
No.
TV Kings apparently is this like, I don't want to say it's underground, like it's well known. Just go Google TV Kings. Apparently you can get everything for like $20 a month, $40 a month, whatever it is, for, however many TVs you hook up to this, you can watch anything. So I'm super psyched. I'm still not going to cancel any of my subscriptions to like, we have Disney Plus and Peacock, and I mean, we got everything except Netflix. I dropped Netflix when The Office was taken off, and I don't have any ambition on going back. However, I guess you can watch like anything on this TV King, so I'm excited about it.
That seems like it does seem a little underground. Like $20 a month. Here's your Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Peacock.
Listen, hey, I'll let you know whenever my computer is diseased or somebody hacks my credit card. But we're at that point anyway. China's coming for us, so you might as well just give it up.
I grew up in the 90s. We risked computer viruses just to get free music. So
LimeWire.
Nowadays it's TV streaming services. I think that's a little bit more worth the risk than Snoop Dogg's newest album in the 90s.
I remember how mad my parents were at me whenever I downloaded LimeWire on my computer I took to my freshman year at Ohio Northern. That thing had so many diseases. I mean, it could have been a patient at the clinic. It had so many diseases on it from just trying to get like Nellie's Hot and Her up on my Dell desktop. So it was a living experience, man, that when you're willing to pay the price for that music.
Piracy, the FBI might get you, but the computer viruses will.
Piracy is a crime. Also is copyright infringement, in case you have a show out there that constantly uses music on intros or outros. So just letting you know, I mean, general public.
Sometimes, I don't know if you've seen it, but a couple of times Facebook clips us for like one of the commercials or something.
Yeah.
And then you'll go in and you'll see the song that they say is copyright claimed. And you're like, that ain't even close to what's on the commercial.
No, you know what it gets me is when we're at a stadium or a gym and it's in the background and they hit us for it.
Right. It's like,
I don't know what you want us to do. Like, we can't control that.
And then, funny thing about, I didn't get a chance to tell you yesterday because we were both in the office, but you were doing Higgs Take, so you came in a little late. Then I had to leave as soon as we got off the air. But the Baird brothers Big Dog of the Valley post from yesterday, Twitter, I don't know if like there was a trigger word that Twitter didn't like, but Twitter like shut our account down, but blocked us out of the account because that tweet for the Volleyball Baird brothers Big Dog of the Valley broke Twitter rules.
What?
So we had to delete that tweet, and then we got back into the account.
I'm trying to think what I put.
It was like breath takers and milestone makers was there was nothing like that I thought was offensive or oh, that's definitely a trigger word. We should say, I don't know.
That was 100% one of my best marketing ones I've done to this point. I was so excited because you were amped up about the milestone makers, and I was like, oh, here we go. Breath takers, milestone makers. I was, woo, Ric Flair all the way down in the basement doing that one. And that's funny. That's funny that Twitter, of all the things on Twitter,
right,
they Donald Trump me because I use breath takers and milestone makers. Thanks, Joe Biden.
I don't know that Elon Musk had it blocked.
Elon and I are boys, man.
Must be on a list now. We're on some blacklist for Twitter watchers.
Yeah, okay. Twitter. They're really concerned about YSN.
DJ, yesterday we had a bunch of content interviews go up. Richie had a great time at Coca's Pizza, got some Canfield interviews. Mike Pavlansky got to talk to him about this week's matchup with Dover. When you look at it, I love, when we get to interview the people that, and you did it with South Range too, the kids that don't necessarily get the limelight, the offensive linemen. Richie got long snapper yesterday. The guys that they only get noticed if they make mistakes, kind of like a catcher in baseball. You only get noticed if you make that pass ball by the limelights in the media or what it may be. Love to see these interviews. And Richie was telling me yesterday, 24 seniors on this Canfield team we're trying to get, and we're on pace to get all of them by week 8 because of the great work that he's putting in.
Yeah, dude. I'm a little behind the 8 ball. Richie told me yesterday, he's like, hey, you got 20 seniors in South Range. And little did he know I interviewed 8 of them, or 7 of them, I guess, on Thursday or Tuesday night. But I love it. I really do. What's crazy, Ant, is have you ever been in a live setting for some of these interviews?
No, I haven't had the experience yet.
Nerve-wracking. Because you're not only trying to get the question across, but you have to ask them in an entertaining way.
Right.
Because you've got people, like we've got a speaker hooked up that's pumping out to the general public at the bar and at the tables, and they're all watching. And you have to make it entertaining, exciting, and personal all at the same time. It was a dream come true for me to do that. I mean, I grew up listening to the Bill Cowher show, all these shows that you hear on the radio. You don't necessarily have the visuals, but I always thought, how cool would it be if you can see these people talking? And that's what we get to do. And Steve Leslie's a big part of that. Obviously, these great sponsors are a huge part of that. We just inked a couple more moving forward. So we have Legends, which we made the announcement. We'll have the South Range football. We're going to try to get some volleyball, maybe some soccer moving forward over the next few weeks. But we also have Sam's Wedge Inn, which will be for Austintown Fitch starting next Wednesday. The Post Office Pub will be for Mineral Ridge. That'll start next Wednesday. We have another one that we're 99% sure we're going to ink this weekend for United and West Branch and possibly Salem. That'll start, hopefully, fingers crossed, next week. So, you think, do we have Cheney? We have Ursuline. Canfield, Boardman, all these different ones. These kids would never be able to get the light of day the way they are if it weren't for these great sponsors and the opportunities that they have with these guys that are going the extra mile at YSN. So kudos to Steve, Anthony Romo, Richie, Quinn Pushkar. Jake Silak's going to be the guy that does the Mineral Ridge one. And these coaches for coming in and yeah, I'm really proud that we're able to kind of cut the deal to make sure that these guys are fed. Anybody that comes on these shows are fed from that particular establishment. But I'm really proud that they're all bringing their families. They're bringing their community behind them, which helps out the establishment. That's why you want to sponsor. You want the return on your investment. And I think that it's coming in droves for these people that are believing in the product. So more to come. And of course, if you want to get involved or pick a team, ysnlive.com/advertise. Easy as that, or send Anthony a message on social. I'm sure he'll get to me.
That nerve-wracking feeling that you talk about, I may not have had it for like live interviews at somewhere yet, but when I'm calling a game, like, and I'm on the floor and like I'm set up in a spot where the varsity is right next to me, especially in the tri-match. The tri-match, there was the team that wasn't on the floor yet, waiting right next to me. And that's nerve-wracking because you're like, okay, that's Coach Lesko over there. He's a really good coach. I better say the right thing. I better say that that's a back set to the right side when it is a back set to the right side, or I'm going to lose a lot of, oh man, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Credibility.
It's nerve-wracking when you're talking, when you're calling a sport right next to someone that really knows their stuff.
I guess that's just something I'm sure that sometimes, when I'm in, where was I? I was at the state championship game, and they put us in a room full of like all writers from all over the state. That's when I get a little bit like watch my P's and Q's. But when you're amongst the people, there is nobody, and I wish I could go over. We are the people's champion. Right. Like that's just it. And if we have a wrong call, you know what I mean? Like if you say, back set or like, listen, we're doing our best, and sometimes especially in volleyball, I fumble over my words so hard in volleyball because I'm trying to keep up. But you said something to me that like, you just stop, you kind of let the game take over. And the reason we visualize it and we put video is because it's supposed to be draw your own conclusions, as opposed to us trying to radio call volleyball. There's a reason they don't put volleyball on the radio or soccer.
Nope.
It would be atrocious. It would be so hard to do it. Football, baseball is a great radio sport. I think softball would be a great radio sport as well. But man,
we've done basketball on the radio, and that was wild.
You can't.
But back before we did, we had video. We were doing audio only basketball broadcasts.
Yeah, you can do basketball. I've heard on the radio, and we've done, like you said, we've done audio broadcasts. But volleyball, I don't know what I was trying to do. Like I'm gracious and thankful for you, or grateful, not gracious, grateful and thankful for you that you kind of brought that to light, because I was like, wow, I can just kind of let it play out a little bit. I'm not sitting there going this person to that person, bump, set, spike, kill,
right,
bump, dig. I sound like the monster trucks guy for a while. And literally people enjoy it, but it's so taxing. At the end of the night, you are mentally drained because one of these teams you probably have never seen before, or very rarely, and you're trying to memorize the numbers. Mm-hmm. And depending on where you are in the gym, you can see the numbers, because Gary and I talk about it all the time on Friday nights. These jerseys keep getting tighter and tighter, and the numbers get smaller and smaller.
And then there are a lot of teams that are starting to like the jerseys that are barely different color than their numbers.
Yeah.
Like a black jersey with a blue number, or
it's a good look. It's just
it looks great. It's just not good for us.
No, like
especially Anthony, who has terrible vision. Even if it's a great contrast color.
Well, and I think God's playing a trick on me here for making fun of your vision so much, because now I need glasses full time apparently, and it's hey, here's a little karma for you, young man. Keep making fun of the blind kid.
I remember last year there was a basketball game, and the JVs came out in gray jerseys with gray numbers with just white outline.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked over, and Tom was with me. I said, I think I am in a lot of trouble. But thankfully, the varsity came out in completely different uniforms.
So, yeah, you remember we did that championship game in Akron Firestone,
right?
And I'm sitting here and I'm looking. I'm like, there's no chance he can see this. No. And you're like, I'm doing play-by-play. I'm doing play-by-play. And your mom basically fed you play-by-play the entire night. I'm
right.
like,
All right, that's what happened.
And Karma served us a nice burger too because South Range got pumped. What 10-0, 11-0, something like that.
It was rough.
Yeah. And I just looked at you. I was like, come on, man. Like, let me, you know, way more than I do about softball. Like, let me paint the picture and you color it however you want. You can scribble like a 4-year-old if you want. I don't care. But I'm just like, there's no way. But now here I am, glasses in tow, blue winks. Thank you very much. But I'm going blind. I think think it's happening.
Do you buy into the some people say it's you look at screens so much it damages your eye, and obviously we look at our screens a lot because it's literally our job.
Well, I don't know the difference between an optometrist and an ophthalmologist or whatever it is. So doctor, I blanked on his name, Mark Dumbold here in East Palestine doesn't buy into it, but I will tell you this. Here's a thing for Blue Wings. Here's a promo for Blue Wings. These Blue Wings glasses, they're local, number one. Joe is the CEO. He's a firm believer in YSN. He's a great guy. I think he's a Poland guy that has this. Since I've started wearing them, the first set of glasses I had, they were like non-prescription. They weren't anything, and it helped. Like less headaches, less I mean, like. The rule number one when I come back in on Friday nights is I turn the overhead lights off because they bother me. And they give off a blue light. So with these on, I can sit here all day and I still get it like from around the edges, but not direct. So we, some of the athletes, after we pushed them, started wearing them when they're looking at film. I mean, these kids are looking at their stuff all day anyway. They're on this. So when they're on it, the headaches have gone away, the eye fatigue, and I've been big sufferer from that. Do I believe in it? A little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's helped me, but there's also like this blue light technology that's inside these glasses that help, but more or less I can read now. I went for like 2 months, 3 months where I couldn't, it was tough. Like, I'm like, how do I drive? And, got my prescription set of blue winks, and Dr. Dumbold said, well, I think you're going to be all right. So I've got to go do a procedure in a couple weeks to get my eyes taken care of. And then I think I'll still need these. He doesn't think I will. I think I will. But we'll see. But, when your eyes go, like my dad had glasses all his life. My mom got glasses in her late 30s. So it's not, too far off the tree that I had to get glasses. So
I'm always, anytime I'm like, man, I can't see. I'm always thankful enough. Like I can see, and there are people that I can't, I try to keep things in perspective as much as possible. I can see good enough to live and to do my job to the best of my ability. And that's what I have to keep remembering.
Well, we put a 32-inch screen in front of you and you still have to like go right up on. Like I told Richie the other day, I was like, I don't know how much bigger I can put a screen in front of Anthony that he can see.
I got a TV in my room just for the fact that I can put it up on the monitor so I can have a bigger screen to look at when I'm home.
Yeah. I mean, this thing is humongous. Like you can see it in the bottom of my screen. Like this thing it's a 32-inch screen that is right in front of our face. So if I'm not wearing these blue inks, it's probably like I'm blind just from the vivid colors.
It's like immersive IMAX.
I could turn these lights off and the room would still be absolutely lit because of the brightness of the screen.
That would have come in handy yesterday because Alexa wasn't turning the lights on, and I was like, Richie, I hope you're coming in.
Because I don't know what he does every so often, but the Alexa just gives us lip, and it's like, it's not under my commands. I was like, wait a minute. The lights turned on just fine last week. What happened?
So I was prepared to do the show like the Blair Witch Project with just a light in my face, like, but luckily Richie came in my knight in shining armor and was able to turn the lights on manually, and we did not have to deal with that problem.
I think you can still turn the lights on manual. I think you could fit over there.
I don't know if I could get like behind the big the audible call backdrop.
Well, if you know where it is, you can just push the button. Like you just push in the backdrop and the button.
Oh, that's true.
That's what I do, because I got tired
Going
of
back
that.
there, I would be terrified that I'm gonna do something and it's gonna fall over. Or God, geez, that would be just
I'm
my
sure.
nightmare. Like, oh, DJ's gonna have to come to the office, and I'm gonna have to explain why Audible Calls backdrop is down.
As long as you don't spill anything, I'm good. Like that's all I care about. You went
I
through like a couple weeks there that like
I learned that lesson. I stopped bringing cups to the office. I thought
you
I was
had
cool. I had my Yeti. I was like, man, I'm gonna be cool, office man. No, no, thank you. Not without cup holders on my chair.
it was everything was all over the floor. I was picking up at home, and I come back and I've got to pick up the spills. I'm like, all right, this is another trick for God. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You're always at the heart of those God tricks, by the way. Thank you very much, Anthony.
I get them too. So
Nothing treats me better than a little bit of karma, and it's always Anthony Hartwig that's serving it up like hot apple pie.
When we do have a good show today, I want to take time to preview what we have for you today for everyone that is tuning in. We have Megan Franks, the new head coach of the brand new girls golf program at South Range. First year of existence of girls golf in the program at South Range. She's going to come on at 12:30. Just talk about what it takes to build a program from scratch. I mean, that's impressive to take something and get enough girls interested in to say, hey, we're going to do it and we're going to run with it. And they finished third in the NE8 in their first year. So they had a successful season, all things considering. We also have 3 interviews to share with you with 3 seniors from 3 different schools. Addison Stacy from Cardinal Mooney, the volleyball setter. And then we have Lauren Shingledecker from Brookfield, the senior over there. And then we have Courtney Clark from Howland that we're also going to play for you guys as well.
That Courtney Clark interview was awesome. I mean, you want to, I know I say this a lot, but that young lady, for never meeting each other before, she was so comfortable, so calm. She comes from a military family, so I put some military acronyms in the story, hoping to gain a little bit of that authenticity because I worked in the military space for a little bit. So there's probably people that are like, what is this? Like MOS? I tried to spell it out for him, but I hope her dad, especially, I hope he appreciated it.
Man, I've had the chance to see her live a couple of times. Excellent volleyball player, but you can tell, and I'm sure you'll be able to hear it in the interview. I haven't heard it yet, so I'm excited to hit play and hear it. But great kid, just a great character, high character kid. And I didn't know she was raised by a military family, but when you know that, and then you know what I've already seen, it's almost like a no-brainer.
Oh, without a doubt. I was honored. I told her that was one of the better interviews I've ever done because, I always ask, like, what's on the table? What's off the table? What can I say? What is there anything you don't want to talk about? She's like, no, like, let's go. I mean, she was very, like, she's done it a million times. And then I found out she's never done it before. So kudos to her and good luck to her. She's going to go play volleyball in college, it sounds like. So that's exciting.
That doesn't surprise me either. Very good player, very, very talented player coming out of the outside for Howland, and big key to their offense when you have an outside like her and then a middle like, 2 sisters, I get them mixed up. Jessie DeSalvo, Jamie DeSalvo, older sister, graduated last year. Jessie DeSalvo in the middle for Howland. That's a 1-2 punch that a lot of teams have trouble with defending.
It looks like Coach Frank is here. I can't wait to talk to her.
Yeah.
We get her popped up.
We have so many windows in our green room. I didn't even see her pop up. But yeah, let's bring her on and let's talk about starting a new program and what that takes. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, like I said, first year of girls golf in South Range. I'm sure it's been a whirlwind, and I'm sure it's been a couple of years in the making for you. What kind of went into building this program up, and how excited were you to finally get it started this year?
We were excited. It's been, like you said, there have been talks of the program starting for a couple of years, and it happened very fast. It was a lot of paperwork and getting the season started. Like I said, it started late, so we didn't get too many people on our schedule for this year. But we started out with 2 girls that had previously played with the boys on co-ed team last year, and we're up to about 8. I had to tell a couple girls that we would have to wait till next season. So we're building, and it's exciting.
Coach, from a planning standpoint, what goes into planning a program that's never been had before? I mean, legwork, paperwork, recruiting, all that stuff.
It was a lot. I'm not going to lie. Just to be certified for coaching is a lot, and the money that goes into that. And then, like I said, figuring out how to put the schedule together. We have some stuff like for the sectional tournament coming up next week. They're implementing live scoring. So to get signed on to all the different websites, the OHSAA app that'll be broadcasting that live scoring, the I Want to Maker, the bombs page, just kind of figuring that out as we went, and also being in season immediately was a lot to figure out. So, but it's been fun. It's been challenging, rewarding as the program's growing.
What was the thing about this year that made it the year that it was going to be, brought into fruition? Like you said, it's been talked about for a couple of years. What made this year the one year that you could say that we could do this, and you put the gears in motion?
I'm not sure really how to answer that question. It happened out of nowhere. We were at the Raider golf outing, and I think that a couple of girls just started to hear about some other girls teams in the area, and honestly it was only fair for it to happen. You need 4 girls to have a team, and like I said, we found those 4 girls and branched out from there. And adding on tonight, we're going to have a little match to see who our 5 will be to play in sectionals. So I have girls that, like I said, were on the team with the boys 2 years ago, and some who had never picked up a club before. So they started from the absolute ground of not knowing any of the rules, the etiquette of golf. And I have two juniors, 1 sophomore, and 5 freshmen. So we're just going to grow and get bigger. And I'm so proud of the girls, because golf is an individual sport, but takes a lot to go out there, especially when you've never held a club before, and maybe whiff a couple and then strike a couple down the fairway, but to continue on and not quit and not get frustrated with how many rules, and really figure out the game. I do have a good assistant coach. My husband is helping with the program also, and he was pro for a long time, so he is kind of helping with the swing and more of the technical parts of golf. So happy to help.
I'm always enamored by kind of how things happen at South Range. I mean, it feels like every time that the world is against South Range always prevails. How do you temper expectations for the success and the championships and everything, the glory that goes with burgundy and gold when you're starting a program? Not that you want to, use it as a crutch or an excuse, but it sometimes, especially when these kids have never played golf before, there's got to be expectations of this is going to take some time.
Absolutely. I mean, and I told the girls, I said, this is going to take time. And maybe even in your time here, we might not win any big, huge tournaments, but you will learn a sport that you'll use for a lifetime. And you'll thank me when you get older that you can go out with your business partners, your husbands, and play the game. So our expectations are low, but pretty cool that we could go out in the NE8 conference and beat some teams. So, we, like I said, we are building this program from the ground up. And my junior, Bethany, she was 1 stroke off finishing second in the whole NE8 conference. So,
wow.
It's just cool to watch. And tell them every time, I said, you are only going to get better. Don't get frustrated. Everybody has their bad days. And then you cannot get on that golf course and say, I hate golf. I'm not good at it. You got to practice. And if you don't expect to go out there and be great. So put in the work. We'll see what happens.
For your 2 players that were on with the boys and the co-ed team, how much did it mean to them to say that there was going to be a girls program at South Range and they kind of got to be a part of their own team?
I hope it means a lot, because a lot of work has gone into it, but it's only right. I loved seeing them at that conference competing against the girls, to see where they stand, and to not have to go play from the boys' tees, and just have an equal playing field was so nice to see them be able to shine. It really was. And I hope they're excited for next year, their senior year, that they'll at least have a program to work with and see where they go from there. So pretty cool.
I'm super excited about it. I'm a newcomer to golf. I was a baseball guy growing up, then I played the adult league softball, but I will tell you, now that I've started golf, I've fallen in love with it to the point where I want my kids to have, I've got a 4-year-old boy and a 10-month-old girl, who they will have clubs in their hand as they grow. Number one reason, Coach, I got to be honest, is I heard last year 33% of scholarships in women's golf were unfulfilled. So that means that there's opportunities for these young ladies to go get full scholarships at whatever university basically they want. Have you conveyed that message to them?
Yeah, I think they know that. And honestly, like you speak of your kids too, I have an 8-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter. My 8-year-old son's on the PGA Junior League, and so we eat and breathe golf. Like I said, it's a lifetime sport, not only with the scholarships, but it's important. And I don't think you could start too young. So I am a phys ed teacher here, 15 years in at South Range. So I kind of have a little bit of pull to see where, access a lot of kids from kindergarten through senior year. So it's nice to be able to talk to the girls that might not, might not be in a mainstream sport, and let them know that golf is an option for them. It's important. So
you're in the school, you're in the school system. How much recruiting have you done in the last couple of, inside the school to try to get girls interested in golf at the middle school level and at the high school level, so you can start building this program even bigger the next couple of years?
You can find me in the hallway, basically making eye contact with every girl, telling them to get a golf club in their hand, and they either roll their eyes at me or they say maybe next year. But I'm pushing for girls golf, because here you can do a dual sport. You claim, your mainstream sport is number one, and then work with the coaches. So, I don't know if a lot of girls know that, but it's an option. So yeah, I like I said, I have access to K through 12 here, and you'll find me in the halls a lot, just grabbing girls and just tell them, get a club in your hand, okay? Then they tell me, I stink at golf. Did you practice? No. I said, well, you put some practice in. You have a great coach in Garrett that's going to be able to look at a canvas that you might never have picked up a club before, but you're going to learn the right way, and not have any bad habits to break, which that's what I love about phys ed too. If you teach the kids the right way the first time, it's only up from there. So
I'm going to ask Donnie Farron how many Gator golfs were purchased over the last few years or the coming few years for the younger ones to be able to get a golf club in their hand. I was told that's the best way to get a young person, like 4 and below, to be able to get going is like Gator golf and these little toys and things that they're coming out with on Amazon. How would you go about recruiting the younger, like elementary, things like that? How do you, without getting an actual $1,000 set of clubs, like how do you go and get a club in their hand?
Oh, well, like a lot of times I'll just be at the football games and tell parents mostly, like, hey, it's never too early. My son had a club in his hand at 4 years old, maybe even before that. And then we have a real good friendship with Brian Tolnar, as you guys are,
Hey,
him.
I know him.
Yeah, he's a great friend of ours, and they have a program that runs out of Mill Creek. So he's going to be on our schedule next year, that they actually come in. He and Stacy will come in and teach some beginning skills in the elementary, bring all the equipment. It's not off the top of my head, can I remember what the program is called, but it's just a good way to get golf into the schools. Like you said, equipment's expensive, and it's expensive sport. So we were lucky enough to have some clubs donated, and I'm on the hunt, garage sales, buy, sell, trade, to just kind of have some clubs that we can gather together for the girls who do want to golf, who don't have a set of golf clubs. Because like I said, it's not cheap. So ran into that a lot with the other coaches, the new coaches around that I've met, who have been great in our conference, just kind of throwing ideas together, because you don't want to turn away a girl just because they don't have the equipment. So been working on that too.
Last question I have for you is, who got you invested into the game of golf? Was it your husband, or was it before that?
Well, it's funny, because when I was a senior, I went to Boardman. They came into my basketball. It's like an open gym. And I remember Coach Kanya came in and said, would anybody please consider going out for the golf team? Because we need an extra player. And I said, I'll try it. So some of the best memories I have was from that senior year on the golf team. We still laugh with the Karsmers. A lot of fun times. So I tell those girls too, even the mistakes you're going to make out here, eventually those will be some of the funnest memories that you can make on the golf course. Hence why golf is exploding, especially after the pandemic. And I tell them too, it's a guy's secret. There's a reason why these guys go out there and golf, because it's fun. You turn your cell phone off and it's just a lifetime sport. So yeah. And then I met my husband and I caddied for him and really learned about golf and why you don't shoot for the green every time and laying up. And, there is an art to the sport that these girls are going to benefit from him being able to learn from him. So it's great.
And I got one more before we let you go. And my question is, if you had someone, if you had to, give us a timeline of where you want this program to be in the next 2 or 3 years, what would you say? How fast can it grow? And what are your expectations for the future of this program?
I'm a real competitive person. So I played for Ron Michella, and I'm always going to have high expectations. We started low, but like I said, I had to turn some girls away from this year. We only had 5 matches on the schedule, and we're hoping to have a full schedule next year. Really get some practice in. I always tell them 2 champions are made in the off season. So if you're interested in being good at golf, then go practice. All you need is a couple clubs, balls, chipping and putting. That's free at every golf course. Show up on the green and put the work in. And, like I said, with this being a beginning year, a little bit easy, but as we go further, that competitive spirit will come out, and I will expect a lot.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for the time today and letting us get a glimpse into what it takes us to build the program. We loved having you on. We wish you the best of luck in the sectionals, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Hopefully we'll see you again soon and years to come.
You bet.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, talk to you later. Thank you.
There she goes, buddy.
Yep, there she goes, the brand new head coach of the brand new girls golf program at South Range, and someone that's been in the South Range system for a long time, loves the school system, has been working there since 2007. She was actually the phys ed teacher in middle school the year I left middle school. So I missed her by a year as far as having her as a gym teacher. But I remember my senior year when I would have to walk through the middle school to get to the elevator in South Range, always running into her. And great person, great South Range Raider, through and through now, 15 years in the job. And no one better to really start a program than someone that's been in the school system for that long.
No, I agree with you. I think that, having a competitor at that, and listen, it's South Range, right? And I asked the question of, are you able to temper your expectations? Because there's a lot of teams in that school that are bringing home jackets and T-shirts and championship banners and trophies. To start a program is to know that for the first 3 to 5 years, you're probably not going to be able to compete. There's going to be glimpses, there's going to be flashes, but to start it from scratch the way they are. And it sounds like Coach Frank is not going to use that as an excuse.
Oh.
She's going to put the best out there. She's going to get them what they need. And like she said, get out there, chip putt. It's absolutely free. There's no excuses for missing chips and putts. Now, when it gets to drives and get in the driving range, yeah, that's going to cost you a couple bucks. But, with all the great things, Mill Creek, she mentioned Brian Tolnar, which is a great sponsor and a huge supporter of our show. He is, to me, the best teacher because he's empathetic. He understands where you're at in your walk with golf. It's kind of like, a good church almost, a good pastor or a leader of a church is not going to just come at you and say, hey, look, all of this, you need to read the Bible. You need to do this. Like, it's understanding the Bible. It's understanding golf,
Right.
As a religion almost. Because that's what it turns into. I stink at it, but there's glimpses that get you coming back the next day or the next week or the next month and certainly the next year that makes golf such a great sport. I just think she kind of tongue in cheek talked about it. Do you know what golf stands for, Anthony?
No, I actually don't.
gentlemen only, ladies forbidden. And here we are talking about a ladies golf team being born here after the pandemic and at South Range. So very, very cool interview. Very cool interview.
And she actually answered one of my big questions that I had before I could even ask it. Because when I'm thinking, you're starting a golf program and you have some girls that have never picked up a club before, I'm thinking you're just gonna, how do you get them clubs? How do you work them and get them clubs to use for the season? They got donated, which was pretty cool. But I was thinking like that was one of my big questions, like how in the world are you getting the equipment on the fly? Because golf equipment's not cheap to just go out and buy.
No,
so
that's something that I think, I mean, we'll work on from our standpoint because, sport's very important to us. And, with what we do with charities and things like that, as great as charities are, our goals will always be, get equipment for kids, no matter what the cost and whatever we can do. So I'll be talking to Brian about that and seeing what we can do to help out some of these area teams that are trying to get, like South Range, get something started, get some clubs in the hands of these kids and, just general having them on hand, maybe not like the signature bags or anything like that, but maybe just getting some general clubs in their hands so they can get out and enjoy the game of golf. And as Brian likes to say, every time I'm near him, help grow the game of golf here in the area.
And although they are brand new, they still finished third in the NE8 tournament. And like she said, they had a couple of girls that got pretty close to the top of that leaderboard in the individual, scores. So new program, but like you said, glimpses of what they can be if they keep putting in the work, 3-5 years, maybe even sooner than that if things go the right way.
Yeah, when she said that she was a product of Ron Michella, I knew that it's not going to take long. There's competitive people, and then there's branches on the Ron Michella tree. And if you know Coach, you understand that that's not just gearing you up for basketball or sports. It's gearing you up for the rest of your life and competing in everything you do. And
that's what makes us so excited about the resurgence of Boardman girls basketball this year, because he's going to be having his fingerprints back into that program.
His DNA has always been a part of it. People can say as much as they want that, they tried to go the other way. But I mean, with guys and gals that he's already impacted so many, I mean, the Riccatellis being one of them, it was only a matter of time before his, not just DNA was being advised, but his fingerprints were back on the program itself.
So let's take our first break of the day, Pace and Mills. Come back with more fun on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
More crack.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com.
Going from mindful to mindful sometimes requires a helping, healing hand. Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness offers a continuum of mental health and wellness care. At Insight, we're changing the way you receive counseling and wellness services with experienced licensed clinicians and expertly trained wellness staff. With 4 locations in Mahoning and Columbiana County, along with telehealth services, Insight offers clients quick access to care when they need it. Transform your mental health and wellness at Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Down. Anthony Hartwig alongside DJ Yoakley. And DJ, we are just about in the second hour of the show where we're going to play a trio of senior volleyball interviews with 3 different schools being highlighted. Excited to share all those conversations with you guys, our viewers. But before we do, want to get out the volleyball state poll that came out a couple of days ago. We haven't had a chance to talk about yet on the show. Fitch is ranked 15th in Division 1. We go to Division 2. Girard and East Liverpool are actually tied in voting with 16. So they're both kind of tied for 16th in Division 2. Division 3, we have 3 state-ranked teams right now. Lakeview is 6, Crestview is 10, Middle Ridge is 15. And then you go down to Division 4, and we have Wellsville ranked at 13. So that is a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 state-ranked teams in the volleyball world and for YSN schools.
Yeah, and the one thing that I want to bring to everybody's attention, it's been a long time coming this week, but and I've had a couple people reach out. The power rankings for volleyball will come out today. Working on them right now. We had kind of a tie, but we had to kind of go to the judges' scorecards to break it. So tune in for those today. Those will be released hopefully. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'll be working on them whenever these interviews are going on. So,
all right. That's going to be exciting as well. And when you look at Division 3, and me and Richie talked about it a little bit yesterday, 3 state-ranked teams in YSN Division 3 with Lakeview, Crestview, Middle Ridge, all in the same district when we talk about tournament time coming up in less than a month, really, for volleyball. But then in that district as well is Lake Catholic, who is ranked first in the state in Division 3. So that Division 3 district tournament, whether it be at Grand Valley or I think Medina was the one where were the 2 sites for districts last year. So whichever district our teams fall into, and with the super districts, they can kind of pick and choose which one they want to go to. Either way, it's going to be a gauntlet of teams that you have to really go through in Division 3.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, man. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of great teams. Volleyball continues to just keep getting better and better and better here in this area, and we're here for it, man. We cover the majority of these teams throughout the year, and Crestview has been super impressive. Lakeview, without a doubt, super impressive. And Fitch, you said Ridge. I mean, when you think about these teams, the majority of these unbelievable teams, these unbelievable talents are coming out of this area now, and I think that is a huge coup to the JO volleyball. Almost at AAU, the JO volleyball to club volleyball teams, to raising the standard of what's acceptable here in this area, and tryouts and stuff like that. And people say, listen, volleyball is probably the most, I'm going to borrow my buddy's slogan, cold-blooded, of all the sports, because these volleyball coaches are out for blood. Like they want to win in the worst way. And, the kids have had to raise their game as a product of it. So good for them. Proud of them and continually getting better and better. But I want to bring up one thing, Anthony, that I'm not sure that we've talked about yet on the air here at YSN. It was brought to my attention yesterday, and I didn't have. Well, I had our show at 2 or at 3, excuse me, but it wasn't appropriate. But now that we're talking about volleyball, I want to send all of our love, our thoughts, and our prayers to Wellsville. I'll be down there tonight for prime time. In case you didn't know, Jonathan Stokes, the head coach of the Wellsville Lady Tigers, had a situation, and I'm not going to go into it in depth. But he's I believe he's still in the hospital, as far as I know. The last update that I have, he required a surgery, I believe. But the biggest thing, what I can tell you for certain, is that at this point, they need you to wrap your arms around them, your thoughts, your prayers. He's got kids. He's got a wonderful family. So please, there's stuff online if you choose to reach out financially or with your time or resources. He's a great guy. He's been a supporter of YSN. He's got Sky, who's at West Virginia.
Yep.
And, obviously we know Presley is amazing at what she does in Wellsville. And it's never easy to kind of do that. And, to have to move on, and play the game that she loves and they love as a family, and try not to, think about what's going on is going to be awful difficult. So we ask you here at YSN, if you wouldn't mind, and if you choose to do so, please hold them up in your thoughts and your prayers. And if you feel like donating whatever you can, resources, financial, whatever it may be, please let us know, and we'll point you in the right direction. It's just, you just never know, Ant. I mean, this thing is, people talk about life all the time, like they're going to get a second ride on it. And, unfortunately we only get one ticket on this thing. And
it's a ticket that we don't know when it's going to be punched.
No. And it's, you never, you never know when you got to turn it in. And it can happen anytime, and he's been a super supporter of volleyball. So I know the volleyball community knows John very well. And I hope that, I hope everything comes through for him. We're praying for you, buddy.
Man, the sentiment, same for me. Wellsville, had a chance to cover them, one of the great volleyball programs. But besides that, I mean, Jonathan Stokes is just one of the great guys. I think he's one of the guys that would, if you came into a volleyball game and you didn't have a shirt, or you had no jacket on or whatever, he would give you whatever off his back that he could to make you feel comfortable in his own gym. He's one of those guys that will sacrifice of himself, even for a stranger. So let alone how much he'd sacrifice for the girls that he coaches and the ones that he loves almost as much as he loves his family. So one of those selfless guys, and we want to be selfless in our way of, showing him love and showing him support during this difficult time that he and the Wellsville volleyball program are going through. Glad that you'll be down there tonight to kind of, have a YSN presence there for those girls.
I'm with you, man. I'll be down there tonight, and I can assure you that it'll come up on primetime this evening. Gary Altizer will be with me, and obviously being the president of the school board, I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about, and we'll try to get more information and the right conduits out to the people, so that way, they can give if they choose to do so. But man alive, I got that news yesterday. My heart sunk. It just, you just never know, man. You never know. That's why you got to live every day to the fullest, and be kind to people, because you never know what they're going through. And yeah, that's all I got. But man, I was looking for the right place to kind of slide that in and let people know. And I'm not sure if that was it or not, but we did it anyway, man. Jonathan and the whole Stokes family, our thoughts and prayers are with you relentlessly through this time.
Like DJ said, much more on that on the YSN Primetime tonight, which will be from Wellsville. But for now, we're going to move on. We're going to go to our 3 interviews with 3 different seniors from 3 different places. We'll start with Addison Stacy from Cardinal Mooney, and we'll move on from there We will be back live on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig here with a Mooney Volleyball player profile. I am joined by senior Addison Stacy, one of two on the team. Addison, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And when we talked to Coach Shaheen before the start of the season, one of the themes of this team was same faces, different places. A lot of people that are returning to this team asked to fill different roles. You're definitely one of them. Taking the part of setter. Angelina Rotuno was so good last year at this role at the varsity level. What's it been like stepping into the setter role for this team and trying to learn the hitters and get in the rhythm with them?
It's been great. She really has helped me on and off the court by talking to me. And I mean, we've been friends on and off the court since last season and with lacrosse season. And she started at the beginning of the summer coming and helping out one-on-one with me, which really helped a lot. It was a big role to fill, but I think the season's going pretty good.
When you were kind of told or you knew that you were going to be the starting setter, what were some feelings that you had and how ready do you think you were to fill that task?
I feel like I personally was more excited to take on this new role and fill more of a leader position. I like being a leader on the court personally, but I felt pretty ready to take it on, honestly.
How would you describe your leadership qualities? What kind of leader are you and what makes you so good at leading this team?
I think that what makes me a pretty good leader is that I just want to see everyone succeed on the team. I want to play as a team. I want to play for one another. Every game I go out and I want to play for each person on my team, and I hope that everyone else is on the same page with me as well.
We were there at the Liberty game. It really feels like this team is starting to catch its stride and catch its rhythm. As the setter that is setting up this offense, do you feel that too, that you're starting to really get a rhythm with your hitters and you're starting to really, be able to run this offense?
Yeah, I think so. I think that one of the hardest things to do as a setter is to connect with your hitters. And starting from scratch in the summer, everyone was really open to new things, running different things, and just kind of helping me out there.
I mean, how much extra work did you put into the summer to really build a relationship with the hitters and to make sure that, when you're, setting, you know exactly where the hitters like the balls?
Throughout the summer, we did a lot of one-on-one work with just me and certain hitters or just straight hitting lines. And I think that really got everyone's timing down with me. And I just think that worked best for us.
Were there any hitters that were easier to kind of get in rhythm with or as soon as you stepped on the floor, it kind of clicked?
Yeah, I think the one that I have the most connection with is our middle, Maria Fire, who's also a senior with me.
Yeah, and when you think about these seniors that you're with, obviously each one brings a little bit of a different leadership role to the table. What's it like to be with them and to know that you're not alone out there as a leader and that you can lean on their particular leadership qualities too?
I think that we have a really good group of seniors this year and that we all depend on each other in different ways, but we still fill our roles as individuals. And I think we all lean on each other sometimes more when we need it. And we're all just there to help each other out when we need it the most.
So Coach Shaheen comes in and takes over this volleyball program for the first year, but she was in the program last year. She's been the lacrosse coach. So obviously you have a little bit of a connection with her. What was it like to know that she was your head coach this year of volleyball, and what kind of things has she helped in this program, helped you grow in the volleyball court this year?
Me and Tony have a really close relationship, and it definitely showed throughout the summer and even in this season. She's really helped me with pushing me to be my best self on and off the court, and I think that it's really starting to show through with even everyone that she wants everyone to just fulfill their potential and that she holds us to such a high expectation.
We get to see her on the sidelines, but obviously you get to see her in practice off the outside of the game. What's one thing about Coach Shaheen that you think that maybe not too many people know that you think that they should?
I think that she just wants to see that she wants to see everyone succeed. She wants to see everyone do good on and off the court, especially. and that she just wants us to fulfill our potential as players and people on and off the court.
So we all know that Mooney is a very special place. It has a lot of, alums that have gone on to do really incredible things. And when people say Youngstown, one of the things they think of is Cardinal Mooney. So what's it mean to you to represent that school system and to be able to wear those colors, call yourself a Cardinal, and go to school at Cardinal Mooney?
It means a lot to me. I transferred at the end of my sophomore year to Mooney because of the opportunities that it brings to get into college and for the academics mainly. But by playing 2 sports for Mooney, it's been amazing to represent the Mooney family. That's what we're about.
You'll walk into that gym and you see all the state championship banners, whether it be for football, basketball. It's all over the place. There's almost no room for other ones in the gym. Is that kind of daunting at all to be an athlete in Mooney and know the standard of success that has been set by athletes in the past?
I think that to me, it makes me want to go out and play every game, like I said, for one another, for my team, but also to try and get a banner, to fill another spot on the wall until it's completely empty.
You said it, Mooney family. You talk to a lot of athletes. They all say their school system's like a family, but I don't think it's as much as a cliche in Mooney. What makes this school system so unique, and what makes the student body so tight-knit and such a legitimate family?
I think that everyone can depend on each other in any certain way within the student body, and even with the staff going and getting the extra help you need. And everyone's just there for each other and shows up for one another.
Speaking about showing up, we see the football team at your games every time we come into a home game. What's it like to know that even though they just probably went through a long practice and they might have other stuff that they could do, that they decide that they're going to take time to come support you guys on your home volleyball matches?
To the team and to me as well, it means a lot to see just even anyone from the student body come and support us. The more the better. But hearing them all cheer, it gets us excited. It gets the bench excited. We all just feed off of that type of energy.
I'm sure you get to be a part of a student section too and other sporting events. So what's your favorite part about like the atmosphere of being inside a student section and cheering on your classmates?
I'd say my favorite part is just being around the people that I go to school with and just not seeing them as just, my classmates in school, but seeing them as my friends and being able to do something all together with them.
We talk about this Mooney team. Who are some of the players that really give you guys energy on the court and are spark plugs for this team?
I would say Maria Fire. We just have a really good connection on and off the court. Marissa Bowman, she's always bringing energy to us no matter what. And Maria Pecchia and Katie Frommel are huge ones for us too in the back row.
What is kind of one thing that you guys do or maybe you guys do as a team that kind of amps you guys up and gets you ready for game day?
We all write KB on our wrists, which means something special to us. But along with that, we go into the locker room and we blast music. It gets us all excited for one another and just really brings us together.
I also realize that you guys do the jump rope in the lobby before games too. I mean, that's something that a lot of teams don't do. What came about that? Is that something that is coach mandated? Is that something that you guys wanted to do? What's the story behind the jump roping before a game?
Last year we did it. I think it's just always been a part of our warm-up routine. I mean, it gets us moving, gets us excited, jumping around. I just think it's always been a part of our warm-up routine.
Anyone on the team do double dutch? Because every time I see a jump rope, I'm thinking like, let's amp it up a little bit.
I think that Marissa Bowman sometimes does. She mixes it up sometimes.
So if we were gonna have like a Mooney double dutch competition, you think Marissa would be the one to shine on the ropes?
Yeah.
What teammate is the jokester, the one that's always making people laugh?
Oh, I would say Amara Anderson. She's always cracking us up at practice, always saying the silliest things, just always making everyone laugh.
What teammate do you think is the best at saving money or not quick to spend their money?
Oh, I'd say Maria Pecchia, honestly.
All right, opposite end of the spectrum. Who spends it all the time, and you worry about their financial troubles?
I would say Angelique Blasco. She loves spending her money on shoes. She always has a new pair of shoes.
What about you? What's one thing that you kind of impulse buy or you spend money on that you probably shouldn't, or you probably spend too much money on?
I would probably say clothes.
What was your last kind of impulse buy, a thing that you just saw and you had to buy it right on the spot?
I would probably say like a new pair of leggings.
When you go through and we talk about you as a student and an athlete, what are some of the things that you like studying, and what are some of the things that you want to see yourself go into a career field as in the next couple of years?
I really like to study English. That's really the main thing that I focus on, and I hope to do something with either a business degree or go into law school.
When you think about those career paths that you've kind of set for yourself, whether it be business or law, is there anything that like kind of experiences that have happened in your life or things that you have around you that drew you to wanting to be a lawyer or wanting to be a business owner?
A few of my friends' parents are lawyers, and it's always just seemed cool to me. There's so many different types of lawyers that you could be, and with a business degree, there's just so much that you can do, and you can constantly be changing.
We talked about the Mooney family. Let's talk about your family a little bit. Are you a part of a big family? Is it a small family? What makes your family so special to you? And what are some things that you think traditions that you guys have that maybe, are a little bit unique?
I'd say I kind of have a big family. I mean, it's just me, my mom, my dad, and my younger brother. But both sides are pretty big. But one tradition that we do that I love personally is every Christmas morning, my mom makes like a huge breakfast.
Oh, yeah, and I'm guessing because of that, your mom's a pretty good cook. So if I asked you what the best thing that she made was, her best dish, what do you think it would be?
I'd probably say like her pasta, honestly.
After a game, what's the one thing that you like her to make you? Like if you came home and said, "Mom, you got to make me this after a game," what's the best post-game meal?
Honestly, I'd say like chicken and rice. That's usually what I ask for after every game.
Whose parent has the best snacks, like the snack bags on away games for you guys?
Probably the Ratuno sisters, so Sophia and Sam.
Well, they've been there, they've done that, they've had their experience.
Yeah.
You said that you're the older sister, you have the younger brother. What's it like to kind of be the eldest and to try to be a role model when you can? And I'm sure there are also times when, maybe the younger sibling gets on your nerve a little bit. So what's that dynamic like, being the elder sibling in the household?
My brother is honestly like my best friend to me. We're pretty close in age. He's in 8th grade at St. Charles, but we're pretty close. I'd say he's mature for his age, so we've become best friends over the years. And I try to be the best role model for him, and I want him to learn from my mistakes, my experiences, and I'm actually going to miss him when I go to college.
When you think about, is he an athlete? Is he an athlete? Is he going to be a Mooney athlete when he gets in high school next year?
Yeah, he's a huge baseball player, but he also plays basketball.
So the Stacy name will be taken care of at Mooney. That's good to hear. But there has to be something that gets on your nerves, or what's the one thing, the pet peeve sibling wise that you each do to each other?
We both just know how to push each other's buttons and really annoy each other, and we kind of just take it too far sometimes. But
outside of that relationship, what is your biggest pet peeve? Like the one thing that people do that it might not be annoying to other people, but it's like nails on a chalkboard to you.
Probably like people that chew loud, honestly.
What's your favorite social media platform?
Probably Snapchat or TikTok.
All right. What was the last kind of TikTok you saw that made you laugh out loud?
Probably my friend Abby's.
Who is the last person that you, or I should say, last teammate that you sent a text message to?
I'd say probably Maria Fire.
And what do you guys think that you talk about the most?
Just film, really anything, honestly, homework, classes.
You know, it wasn't too long ago where teams could only watch film when they were together. You know, now you guys get it anywhere. You can have it on your phone, have it on your iPad, whatever device you want. So when is your favorite time to watch game film?
My favorite time to watch game film is with the team in the room, all just laughing at things that we did together, learning from our mistakes. But I also like watching film when I have free time at school and just seeing and locking in on what I did and what I could do better and improve on.
All right. So if we asked you, final question, the thing that you've improved on the most from the start of the season to where you are now, what do you think it is?
I would say connecting with my hitters and becoming more of a leader vocally.
All right, Addison, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck the rest of your senior season. We look forward to talking again real soon.
Thank you so much.
Anthony Hartwig here with a Brookfield volleyball player profile. I am joined by Lauren Shingledecker. Lauren, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Senior season, it's upon you. You've been, going through it, halfway there, halfway to the end. What's it been like, going through this season, knowing you're a senior and knowing that, everything you do, it's kind of for the last time you're going to do it?
It's very exciting. I'm very excited to be a senior, but it's very sad because I love volleyball and this is like my last go around. So there's a mix of emotions, I guess.
When senior night comes around, what are going to be some of the emotions that you think go through your mind, and what are going to be some of the things that you're going to have to deal with?
Well, I'm definitely going to play my hardest because, I always do and it's senior night, but I'm going to be very sad because the season's almost over. But it's really exciting to be able to, be a senior and be that leader on the team.
And as a senior, as a leader, like you said, you've had to step up this year. I know you guys lost a handful of really good leaders last year to graduation, so there was a lot asked of this senior class. What were some of the responsibilities you put on yourself to lead this team, and how would you describe your leadership qualities?
The seniors last year were great, so I definitely am trying to take that role like they had. But I try to keep a very positive energy on the court. I try to, pump everybody up. If someone has a bad pass or a bad set, I try to make sure that the next play is going to be better for them. Also for myself, I have to make sure that I'm always on my A game. I'm always doing my best. But I just try to make sure that everyone's having a good time. We're having fun and we're just loud and very energetic.
It is a fun team. It's a very energetic team. Take us inside the locker room and define kind of the identity of this volleyball team, and from your perspective, what it's like to be on it.
Well, in the locker room, we like to have a lot of dance parties before the game, get pumped up, get super focused. So yeah, we have a very great bond because, we've played together for this will be our 6th year together. So we have a super good bond.
6 years together with this big group of seniors. What's it like to be a part of this group, and what has been so special about the bond that you guys have made through the 6 years of playing volleyball together?
It's great. I love all of those girls. We have such a good bond. Like I said, 6 years together. We've been playing for a very long time. Some of them, like my cousin Logan, obviously I've known her since I was born. So it's just very awesome to be able to play with them for so long. But yeah, we play very well together.
I'll admit I fell into this trap last year too. So how many people ask you if Logan is your sister? Because on the same team, both with the same name, you look kind of similar. both seniors. I mean, how many people outside the program that don't know think that you're sisters?
Pretty much I get it every day from people who don't know me. But we look alike. Same last name. Our names both start with L, so people get confused sometimes, but I take it as a compliment.
How close to sistership do you think the relationship is with Logan?
Pretty much, we're pretty much sisters. She's my best friend. We hang out all the time, so.
So,
Yeah.
sisters without being sisters. That's all.
Yeah.
When you think about the other players on this team, the young players that have stepped up this year, what has it been like for you to kind of bring the younger generation up as a senior and to see them grow throughout the year?
Oh, I love it. We have about 2 freshmen who are usually up with us, Riley and Alexia. They're great players. As for me, I played as a freshman varsity, so I know what they're feeling on the court. So I just, try to help them out as much as I can, keep their energy high as well. But they do a really great job. They've done a very good job adjusting, and, I try to help them out if they are having a hard time passing or whatever. I try to give them as much tips as I can.
This season for you guys has been up and down for sure. I know there have been some games that haven't gone the way that you guys want them to, but every time it seems like this team could get into a big losing streak, they come up with a big win to stop that. What has it been about this team to kind of keep them positive, keep them confident in the tough times, and never let, 1 or 2 losses turn into 3 or 4?
Our coaches do a very good job at keeping our heads held high. We take it 1 point at a time always. But we do fall into those little holes where we're like, oh no, 7 points behind or whatever. But we end up, catching up for the most part. We've had a pretty tough go around as of right now. Just we're trying to get out of our little slump, but we've been playing some really great teams. So I think we've definitely done a good job for what we can do.
It's a really tough schedule, and a lot of your conference is a division ahead of you guys. So that being said, how much do you think that you'll be prepared for tournaments, considering what you guys did last year, middle of the pack in VAC, and then you come out and you go to the district championship game? How prepared do you think this schedule makes you guys for the district tournament?
I definitely think it prepares us a lot for the playoffs. We practice very hard after these types of games and stuff. So I definitely think going into tournaments and stuff will be pretty good.
Getting so close last year, getting to that final district championship game and falling short, how hungry did that make the players that were returning? I mean, to try to get back there and try to win it this time.
Oh, very hungry. We have our goals set for this year. We know what we want. So we're going to play as hard as we can to get that.
Of course, that's a team goal. What about some personal goals that you set for yourself coming into this year and you wanted to accomplish for yourself?
Yeah, I definitely, one of my main goals was to obviously be a leader. I want everyone to, enjoy the season, have a good season, keep the energy high, just go out every single game, playing your hardest and getting along great. So definitely a personal goal is, to be a good leader on the team.
You brought up your coaching staff, former college player as a head coach. What's it like being under her? What kind of things has she taught you about the game of volleyball and yourself as a person?
She's such a great coach. She's taught us so much. She not only with volleyball, but just in life in general, she's just a very great role model. During practices, she runs practices so well. It's just, we love having her. It's great.
I think after that district championship loss, she was hungrier than you guys to get back to the floor. Talking to her after, I mean, she knows that, you guys had a good chance of coming back to it this year. Her competitive spirit, does it feed you guys in practice and during games? Do you kind of feel that competitiveness flow out of her?
100%. I feel over the past couple of games, we have been so competitive. We want to win everything that we can, and we will try our hardest even if we don't. But she's definitely so competitive, and it definitely feeds off to everyone on the team.
With someone like that, with a coach like that is so intense and so competitive, gotta imagine practices are tough. What's a normal practice look like inside Brookfield?
Practices are tough, very tough, but we kind of just go over everything. We go over the basics. We do some, playing against each other. She hits at us. It's a very high paced practice. We don't get much of a break at all, but it helps us a lot during games. I'm very glad that we have high paced practices because, in the game it's very high paced. So,
I know you're also very studious and you take your schoolwork very seriously. What kind of subjects do you really like learning about, and what kind of classes really let you shine throughout your high school career?
I really like math. Nobody really likes school, but I guess math would be my strong suit, I guess. And I've really been enjoying woodshop lately. I've been in that for 2 years now, so that's kind of fun.
Every time that someone says math, I have to ask the question about what they feel about English, because my experience is you either like one or the other, and you're usually good at one or the other. Are you someone that like that you're really good at math, but English is one of the things that you struggle with?
I kind of get bored in English. I don't like reading. I don't like writing essays. So that's kind of why I would pick math over reading, but I wouldn't say that it's like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, different parts of the brain. When you think about your future goals and things you want to do after high school, what things come to mind? Where do you want to see yourself in a couple of years, and what kind of career do you want to find yourself in?
I'm still very undecided with what I want to do after high school, like most probably are, but I was thinking of maybe cosmetology school. I've always been very interested in like doing hair and stuff, so I was thinking that.
I mean, as far as volleyball goes, did you have any plans of playing after high school, or are you pretty sure that, high school is going to be it for your volleyball career?
It's been on my mind a lot, obviously, because I love volleyball. It's my favorite thing ever. But, I guess I'm just going to see what happens. I don't really know.
When you think about things that you like to do outside of volleyball, some of your hobbies, some of your things that you're interested in, what kind of things make you take outside of the sport?
Other than volleyball right now, I love hanging out with my friends, obviously, so I do that often. I would say maybe baking. I like to bake too, so that's always fun.
Okay, so what's the best thing to bake? What's the one thing that is the Lauren Singledecker special?
Well, if you asked my dad, he would say apple crisp, so probably that, but it's pretty fun to make, so.
Do you ever bake for the team?
No, but we do have a baker for the team.
Okay, so who's the team baker?
It's Coach Sean's wife, actually. Okay. She makes us stuff all the time. It's the best stuff ever. So
what's her best? Like the one when you get that, it's gonna be just a fantastic day.
100% her banana bread. My favorite thing in the entire world.
I think someone might have to bring some of that to the Ysn table the next time we're at one of your games.
You can have some.
When you think about some of your favorite memories with this program that you've made over the last 4 years, what kind of memories come to mind?
Definitely last year. I made a lot of memories last year with in the tournaments with the seniors from last year, Anna, Bailey, and Bailey. They were great. I miss them so much. But this year, I would say we really just made a memory of every game. Every game is something special about it. So I would say just getting to play with all 7 of the seniors was probably the best part of this year.
Next year, if we were to ask one of the returning players what Lauren Singledecker left on them, what would you hope that the answer would be to that question?
I would hope they would say that I was very encouraging. That would be something. That's my goal, is to be an encouraging, energizing leader. So I would hope they would say something like that.
Do you have any pregame routines that you like to stick to? Are you superstitious at all?
I have certain my only superstition is I have certain socks for the game. I cannot wear any other pair of socks or I would just have a bad game.
How far back does that go? Is it start of the season, or have you been wearing the same socks since freshman year?
I'm pretty sure it's been since sophomore year.
Wow.
Yeah. Obviously they were clean, but
yeah, I hope you wash them because
yeah, that would.
When you think about things that you do to get ready for a game, hype up songs, whatever it may be, some people like silence. What things get you in the right mindset?
I would say it depends on the game, but most of the time I like to just silence, zone in, go through the game, kind of what my goals are for that game, and think about it, and usually that, just silence.
All right, Lauren, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to kind of shout out your support system, all the people that have always been there for you throughout your career, and how much they mean to you.
I would definitely want to shout out my parents. They go to all of my games. My grandparents, they're there too. They've definitely made it exciting to go to games and stuff. They've always been there. So I definitely want to shout out them. And then obviously Logan, she's my hype man on the court. So I'm going to shout out her too.
We're gonna have to get her on the player profile interview as well, and talk to her about that dynamic with you too. Lauren, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and giving us a glimpse into your senior year. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the way, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. DJ Yoakley with you for another player profile, a very special one from the Howland Tigers, brought to you by iSynergy. She is one of the best in the area, not only on the floor, but off the floor as well. It is Courtney Clark. Courtney, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Not nearly as good as you've been this year on the floor. You have been outstanding, young lady, and you just continue to bring it at every turn. Your senior campaign, I mean, you're leaving literally everything out on the floor. Is it important for you to do that each and every game so you don't have to look back with regrets?
Definitely. That's something my coach Amanda, talks about every single day in practice. Leaving everything on the court, leaving with no regrets, playing with everything you have. And it's something that is running through my mind every single game. Just putting everything out there and making sure I do my best that I can possibly do, and making sure I'm doing well for my teammates, making them proud, making my family proud, making myself proud in everything I do. So
what were some of the biggest challenges you had personally coming into this season, and have you been able to kind of overcome them?
Definitely, we had quite a young team. We had, I believe, like maybe 2 starters come back from varsity. We had a big senior class leave last year. So really just getting girls experience with the varsity level, I think that was definitely a challenge and a hurdle that we've had to persevere through, but they have done such a phenomenal job. Yes, we've had our ups and downs, but they a lot of the girls power through a lot, and I'm so proud of them, so proud of the work that they've put in. We're finally starting to come together as a team and get to where we want to be at. We can always go further, and I'm sure we will. But yeah, they're working so hard, and yeah, that was the biggest challenge that we probably had to go through, was getting that varsity level experience, and they're doing such a good job with that.
People talk about senior leadership all the time. Naturally, for you, it probably means something than, different from you than somebody else. Where do you feel your best leadership qualities lie?
Definitely, I would say on the court. I play 6 rotations around, so I try to be a big voice all the time. I try to vocalize, where my teammates should maybe place to serve, where some hitters can hit the ball. I try to be that voice on the court, and also off the court as well. After, say, we lose a set and we just look really, really down, I try to take that upon myself, and also with my fellow seniors, that we need to get that morale up. And I think just being that positive voice for everyone that they can look up to, and even, next year they could bring that, like, see how we did it and how we led the team, so that they could go through next year, that they could potentially go and do that themselves.
To be able to build something at this point, that maybe you don't necessarily get fruit from the plant or the tree, is it difficult for you to kind of look in the future and say, I'm doing this for the next generation of Lady Tigers, not necessarily for myself?
It sometimes is, because I always want to play hard in the moment, but always in the back of my mind, something my mom's always taught me as well, is that you are always, like, people are always watching you. You always have to be that leader and have that leadership mentality. So I always try to keep that in the back of my mind, just in case those younger players are watching me, and even young girls. Say my coach is her young daughter watching us. We always need to be reminded that, we're the big kids, and that we're the leaders that are going to bring up this next generation.
I was just going to ask you, how does it make you feel knowing that young ladies, future queens, are watching you and kind of hanging on your every word and hanging on to your every action that you do on the floor and off the floor, looking at you as a role model? What does that mean to you?
It is so special to me. I never really knew how special it could be until this year, till I actually started to experience that. And it's just such a warm feeling inside. Like one big example is we're running laps or running sprints in the gym, and Coach Amanda's young daughter is cheering me on. She's like, "Let's go, Courtney!" And it brings such a big smile to my face every time I hear her chant my name or say like, "Let's go." It's just such a good feeling inside.
Who are some of your teammates over the years and this year that have made your experience so special at Howland?
Definitely my teammate Kyrene Matlock. She has been with me since 7th grade. She's always been my pepper partner. We've been together through every season of volleyball. She just did club with me last year, so we have been together through so much. Also Alexia Spangler, she's been my setter since middle school, so we've all kind of been like brought up together, and they are so incredibly special to me, and I'm so happy that we get to spend our senior season together. Zoe King, this is her first year playing volleyball, and yeah, I mean, she played in middle school, but yeah, first year with us on the team, and she has done such a phenomenal job. Also some of even the junior players, Alyssa Masucci, Amia Silvers, Mia Barish, I played basketball with them in previous years and have just grown up playing the sport with them, and they are such incredible athletes, and I'm so happy that I get to share the court with them.
Obviously, this being your senior and final season, and sharing the court with them, to your point, what is it going to mean to leave the court with some of them as well, to be able to walk out together the way you walked in together?
Kind of bittersweet in a sense. It's nice to, we get to finish what we started, how we started together, we get to end together, but it's also sad in a way that, we're leaving what we have always done together since 7th grade. But then again, humbling in a sense of watching these juniors come in next year, leading the team. So yeah, just a good bittersweet moment.
What do you want people to remember when they think about Courtney Clark, the volleyball player?
I would say definitely, I don't want to say like how I guess how powerful I was, and how much of a presence I was on the court. I guess like working hard every single game to get that ball up, or get a kill, get an ace, just how intense I love to play. And I also hope that people remember like my love for the game. I love playing volleyball, and I hope people can see and remember just how much fun I also had playing it. Every game I try to put everything out there, try to have fun playing it as well, because we don't play volleyball forever. So I think that's definitely what I want people to remember me most, is just how much fun I have playing it, and just how much like effort I put into it, and just everything I put into it. Yeah.
Let's hop off the floor for a minute and talk about your future. I mean, what do you want to do? I mean, it's easy for you to say 5 years old what you want to do when you grow up, but it's a little bit more challenging when you're 17, 18.
Yeah. Well, right now, I'm looking to pursue a track career in college, also majoring in environmental science with a minor in chemistry. I love the science field. I find it so interesting. Also, even I've considered doing ROTC. My dad, he's in the military, and just always growing up, I've been so just like inspired, or just like awe-inspired by him and what he does in the military. And I've always thought like, why can't I do that? And so yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. So
okay, so first off, thank you so much for your family's service with your dad and your entire military family. It means so much, what they do, what you do on a daily basis, and what you go through. Secondly, what have you learned from dad in the military style that he's had to grow up in, and you've grown up in?
Yes. I guess just how, oh man, I guess like how important it is. All right. I would say
It's okay.
Why can't I like speak right now? So you're asking like how?
Yeah. So like what things has your dad kind of brought home that you've interpreted from the military style?
Yeah. I would say the importance of giving your all to everything. I would, and like the importance of diligency, I guess you could say.
What about like, I mean, from a standpoint of just organization, like everybody in the
Yes.
military is organized.
Yes,
Have you
thank
picked
I
that
don't
up?
know why I like can't
That's
think of
okay.
anything right now. But yeah, definitely organization. I like to keep things very, very organized. Also being on time.
Oh yeah.
That's something he tries to always preach to me. I don't know how great I am at always being on time and things, but
Clean and tidy, I'm sure, is a big
yes.
thing. Yeah.
Also the importance of working out a lot. Of staying fit. I try to work out as much as I can, but with such a busy schedule, I don't know.
I'm sure.
I don't get out there as much as I want to, but yeah, definitely staying active. And I guess the importance of service, I guess, because he's always there to lead people. Here's the word I'm looking for. Leadership is definitely something he's brought back. Because I've watched him growing up lead all of these people through, what they have to do when he's over at the base. And I take that and I try to bring that on to my teammates, to my classmates, to my peers around me. So yeah, that was definitely the word I was looking for.
Not a problem. Hey, it's awesome. It's a beautiful thing to be. I thought you were getting choked up, so I was starting to get a little choked up. So at least we're not crying. There could be worse things.
Yes.
Courtney, who are your role models? I mean, there's so many people that support you and look to you as kind of the knight in shining armor, so to speak. Who are the people that you'd love to shout out that have been supportive of you for so long?
1000% my mother. I have looked up to my mom my entire life. My mom, she went to Howland, was a phenomenal athlete at Howland, is in the Hall of Fame. And that's always been my goal. And I kind of want to I don't want to say I want to base my career off of her, but like I want to strive to almost be like her, but also make my own legacy in a way. But she's always been so supportive of me in everything I do. She's been my coach in basketball, my coach in so many things ever since as little as 3rd grade. So she has been such an inspiration to me, such my biggest cheerleader. We also have a joke. She's also my momager. She just helps me through so much, especially now looking at colleges. Her advice and her wisdom, because she's been through all that, it helps me so much. With her also she used to be a college coach, with her wisdom with that. I just feel so blessed that I have her as my mother, that I could just go to her with anything and she will be waiting there for me just with open arms and waiting to help me with anything I need.
Talk about a raving review. That is awesome. Great relationship with a mom is always important. And certainly with what you do and what you deal with on a regular basis, I'm sure it's great to be close with your parents. So Courtney Clark, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate you. We're rooting for you. And I don't know, maybe we'll see you soon, just around the corner here on YSN.
Yes, thank you.
3 great interviews with 3 very talented and very humble and very strong character young ladies from 3 different schools. We hope you enjoyed those. I definitely did enjoyed sitting back and listening to all 3 of those. And I like that all 3 of them are kind of in different spots. Addison Stacy, a senior, but taking her first year as the starting setter for varsity, being under, someone like Angelina Rotuno for the last 3 years and taking as much as she could from her and then getting her opportunity to shine this year and Mooney as a setter. And then you have Lauren Shingledecker, who's been starting since her freshman year for Brookfield at the varsity level and has continued to grow. And then obviously Courtney Clark, who is, like she said, I think one of the coolest parts of that interview, learning what kind of presence that she has on the floor and learning how much power she really has, not just in her swing, but the power that she brings just by walking into the floor, and the presence that she has, the intimidating presence to opposition and the encouraging presence to her teammates. Great 3 interviews, I got to say.
Yeah, 3 young queens that are going to set the table for the future in all 3 of their communities for certain. Just an honor to always talk to these student athletes. You know, we take it for granted sometimes, I think, as you know, everybody, you know, the parents and players themselves are like, hey, we need you to interview this person, and coaches, we need you to interview this person. We have no problem doing it, but I think sometimes, Ant, it's nice to step back and kind of watch them and realize how important it is to our area to be able to highlight these young men and women and understand them a little bit better, more than they're known for in the X's and O's on and off the floor.
All right, DJ, before we get into previewing what will be on the network tonight as far as live games go, I know you're going to have another edition of the YSN Primetime. I want you to preview that a little bit and what fans should expect from YSN Primetime tonight.
Yeah, a little unique prime time is typically we're live from a field or a venue that is regarding sports. We're going to be live from the Wellsville Elks. And people are going to be like, what? Well, here's the thing. Wellsville Elks has been a proud supporter of YSN since we got Wellsville. Like, have been sponsors each and every season. And I'll be with Gary Altizer, who he promised me, and I know this now for certain, that this is some of the best wings that you will ever have at the Wellsville Elks. And we will be down. We will try them out. We will be talking football. I don't know, just a wild guess that the Browns Steelers game will probably come up at some point, being that there's a big game tonight. And we'll talk Wellsville sports and athletics in general and why it's so important. We'll talk to a couple people from the Elks who give so much to Wellsville athletics and school districts. So I'm excited, a chance to highlight Wellsville here tonight. And that's kind of what we're leaning on prime time. Yes, we're going to talk football. Yes, we're going to talk sports, but we're certainly going to talk about what it's like to be a small business in a small town.
Those Tigers are on a 3-game winning streak right now, and they have a Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley nominee on that list. And they also have a couple other players that maybe aren't on that list that are really putting in some hard work. Isaiah Greathouse comes to mind. I think he's the person that other teams circle a couple of times when they're looking to put a scouting report on the Tigers. But they have a big test going to Southern this week.
Yeah, they do. I mean, that is a bloodbath always. It doesn't matter what your record is. Richie and I will have the call for you tomorrow night. First time that we get to call a football game in a while together. So he's excited. I'm excited. He's excited. Just go down and say Wigwam.
Wigwam.
Yeah, everybody is all pumped up about the Wigwam. It's going to be listen, Wellsville is not going to go down there with towels in their bags. Like, there's no towels that are going to be thrown in tomorrow night. And certainly Southern wants to win another one and go 1 week closer to that dream matchup with Valley Christian for the inevitable EOAC title.
Wellsville is feeling momentum right now, and like I said, they have plenty of talent on that team that can do some work. So it's going to be interesting to see what they bring to the table tomorrow in Southern. And obviously, you guys will talk about that in other football matchups that are going to be happening tomorrow and Saturday on YSN Primetime from the Wellsville Elks. As far as volleyball, soccer, and tennis that we have on the network tonight, we do have Cardinal Mooney at Austintown Fitch. Ty Bartell will be in the Falcons Nest, 7 p.m. first serve for that. We have Crestview going to Brookfield. Alec Caberna going to be in Warrior Country for that one, 7 o'clock first serve there. That is the site where Crestview lost their last, not match, but set in conference play. Last year in Brookfield was the last time they've lost a set in MVAC play, and the first and only time they've ever lost a set in MVAC play. So that one will be an interesting call. You'll get to see Lauren Shingledecker in action that you just heard interviewed on this show. Girard will go to Lakeview for the second matchup between these two NE8 powerhouses, 7 o'clock first serve. I will be on the call from Cortland. Then we'll have Oak Glen going to Beaver Local at 7 o'clock as well. Mike McKenzie will be on the call there. Beaver Local coming off the big win last night as well. So they're playing their second game in 2 days. We'll be in Boardman for Warren Harding coming to town. Richie Giuliano going to have the call for that one in Spartan country. 7 o'clock first serve there. A 6:30 start time for this one, so adjust your calendars accordingly. Poland at Hubbard, 6:30 start. David Williams will have the call there for your first serve. And then we go on down the list. Lisbon will be at United. We'll have the school set up there. We still have a couple of other ones that are yellow, so make sure to stay tuned to ysnlive.com/live for those links. If they pop up, we'll definitely have them on for you there. Girls soccer matchup, Kirtland at Orange. That'll be at 6 o'clock. The school will be taking care of that one for you there. And then in the tennis action, we'll have Salem at Struthers. Bob Zanny on the call. That's not going to be at 3 o'clock. So, hey, there's no power hour because of prime time, but you could just replace that 3 o'clock slot that you watch YSN Power Hour and check out some Struthers tennis with Bob Zanny.
Beautiful day for it. Looks like it. I mean, a little overcast, but I know they've had some weather issues this year with getting some of those matches in, but it seems like it's going to be good. But if you are questioning it at all, make sure you download the Storm Tracker 21 app, and you'll know before anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. We love our guys over at Storm Tracker 21, and like you said, looks like a fairly decent night for tennis. I know there are a lot of soccer games and probably a couple of tennis matches other than that one that got moved from last night to tonight. So make sure to get out there. If they're not on YSN, make sure to get out there and support the teams that are playing. And if they are on YSN and you don't feel like going out there for some reason, tune in on YSN tonight, ysnlive.com/live. We still get messages that ask if it costs anything. So I will reiterate, everything is free for regular season, free tonight. The only time we'll have a paywall up, of course, is the playoffs and tournament time when we have to, subsequent the OHSA streaming fee.
And by the way, as promised, the volleyball power rankings are up and out on social. So go check those out and tell us what we did wrong. Because
a couple of new teams on the list. I know Jefferson pops up on that list, and they got a big win over Girard last week that propelled them up towards the bottom of that power ranking list.
Yeah, Jefferson's. I think Jefferson's the only new team on the list. Are they not?
Yes,
West
I think they
Reserve's
are the
been on
only
there
new
before.
team. You're right. They are the only new team. There were a couple other new teams that got some votes, but like you said, there was a tiebreaker in order. And
Somebody voted for Mineral Ridge twice, so they voted for them at 8 and 10. So unfortunately, kind of the rules are if you vote for a team twice, the highest vote gets the count, right. And so that 10 vote was eliminated, which got Western Reserve in. There was a tiebreaker, and that's what it was. So just FYI, if we're being fully transparent, we like to do that. There was a tie between Mineral Ridge and sounds weird, Mineral Ridge and Western Reserve, and because Ridge was voted 8 and 10, you drop out the 10, and boom, there you go.
And Ridge slid a little bit. They have suffered their first loss of the season on Saturday to West Branch. So still a really good team, but I think they were on the rise in the power rankings. They fall a little bit down to 8, but still, I think one of the best teams in the area, and they'll have a chance to prove it a couple of more times later on the season with some big matchups still on their horizon. Once again, check out all the matchups tonight on ysnlive.com/live. DJ will be at YSN Primetime from the Wellsville Elks. I will be in Lakeview for Girard versus Lakeview round 2. And we'll have a lot of fun on the network tonight. Casual Sports Podcast will be coming up next from 2 to 3. Reminder that there is no power hour today because of the YSN prime time that is happening tonight. And then we'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow with Ty. It'll be a 22-hour break for me. Me and Ty will go over all of the football matchups that are happening tomorrow and Saturday for you, preview what we think of is going on, and then, of course, the Power Hour Super Show will round out the Friday as well. So we'll be back tomorrow, 12 to 2. Thank you so much for tuning in.